After the game, it's the aftermath. Win or lose, we still wave our commander's flag. Riding with Wentz under center, making the pass. Jahan Dotson, young rookie, making a splash. That burgundy and gold, that's what we about. Jonathan Allen knocking QBs to the ground. We die hard and nobody can shut us down. Cause this is the greatest show in town. Let's go. Go, 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 go.
What's up, Washington Commanders fans? All right, man, I tell you, if it ain't one thing, is another. And another is another is another. Now, spent most of the morning reading articles, watching videos of the ownership, Daniel Snyder, wrestling stuff last night. Pretty much we know stuff was coming out today because, you know, they have an owners meeting. For what I have read, Ron Rivera, all of them, because, you know, all the coaches and everybody has to be there and everything. So, you know, they're going to talk about the coaches team and all of that stuff. John Klein went out and had a report this morning, elaborated. Well, to the most of his knowledge, there ain't nothing happening. As I have said many times, there ain't nothing going to happen right now. There's one article that said that, hey, Daniel Snyder might not do anything with the team until late May, October. Who knows? I mean, at this point, nobody really knows. But shout out to Rio Robinson. He did say something pretty cut and clear, and that's about the local media that's in the DMV area. None of them really have concrete evidence. You know, John Klein, I think a few others, I think JP Finley and all of them guys, everybody just speculating. Now, because they live in the area, that doesn't mean they have deep knowledge of what's going on. Because if that was the case, then they probably would have given us something more concrete. Now, not saying that they don't have anything, but we all, you know, we rely on mainly the big media market, like the Adam Schefflers, Jay Glazers, Ian Rappaport, and all of them guys. I forgot the girl named Diana Rosiani or whatever her name is. But, you know, you get all these reports, different reports every day about something this. Now, the latest report was the NFL owners is in the dark. Dan Snyder is declining to interview with Mary Jo White, which you probably expected that he's going to decline interviewing her. Now, where that leaves everything, who knows? I could care less. You know what I'm saying? But for the NFL owners to say that they in the dark, I mean, this is kind of like head scratching a little bit, trying to figure out, well, like, okay, if the NFL owners don't know anything, how in the world did anybody from the inside or locally go know more than what the NFL knows? Because trust me, the NFL probably knows something, but they just don't want to share anything. And even if it is, because the thing about it is that you got to think, Daniel Snyder been holding all of this for a long time. You know what I'm saying? And all of these reports. But it doesn't see fitting for him to continue to hold on. Now, for his smart move is that because he wants to get as much money as he can. But now there's a lot of stuff that I'm gonna go over, and please don't ask me where's my source for the information. I have a particular person that tells me certain things because they have certain connections, and I'm not going to spill it just because everybody wants the information. Now, we all know that Daniel Snyder is seeking about $7 billion to sell. This team is probably going to go close to about 6.3, but who knows? Nobody knows that for sure. But at the same time, Peter King stated that Daniel Snyder is not going to get it for $7 billion. He might get it for $6 billion. Who knows? Because Peter King and Mike Florio, they all stick together. You know, they talk and spew stuff. They look just as doggone confused as anybody else. You know what I'm saying? They don't really know for sure. You know what I'm saying? So how he said, Peter King gonna say, well, hey, say the Peter King report is a resolution isn't expected at the NFL owners meeting, which we already knew that, and said the saga could drag out further into spring or longer. And which somebody posted that the NFL Network said this morning that it could last until October. Now, if it lasts until October, that's that's crazy. And then I was told last night that some of the owners don't want to remove Daniel Snyder. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you can see in some kind of way, you can see that. You know, they don't want to, like I said before, they don't want to open Pandora's box because Daniel Snyder pretty much got some significant evidence on these guys too. Maybe that's probably the reason why he wants an indemnification, you know, to protect him from the outside forces and where he don't have to be forced to do things that he want to do. Now, the NFL might be calling his bluff. That could be another thing too. They might be calling his bluff, but I don't think that they're gonna take a chance of trying to out him, and then you open the door later on down the line where any scrutiny comes to any other owner, then you could come back to the same thing and say, well, hey, we did this with Daniel Snyder, now we need to do it with them. They're not gonna do that. Now, there's a very developing story that hit this morning, and it's crazy because trust me, I don't foresee in it either. I don't believe it either. But anyway, nevertheless, Brian Davis, that used to play with Kristen Leitner from Duke, whatever the case might be, supposedly owns some solar panels, probably got a bunch of investments in here and there. Now, apparently he from Junkies. Now, I don't know too much about Junkies Radio or whatever. I don't really listen to them, but some people have, and, you know, just say they not as credible as they may seem to be. But anyway, they posted this morning because Rick Snyder, he retweeted it this morning saying that, hey, these guys say that Brian Davis is sitting on $7 billion of cash, probably $9 billion, and is going to make a bid for the Washington Commanders. Well, we haven't heard any more of it throughout the day. You know what I'm saying? It was all over on Twitter. So we haven't heard anything else about it. You know, there's nothing, with no report, nobody don't know who, you know, I watched a lot of college basketball back in the day. Don't even remember no dang on Brian Davis. But nevertheless, him and Kristen Leitner supposed to be good friends, hearing out. But this is the trick to the whole situation. And this is where I'm going to add a little spin to it. I was told last night that the league has sent a letter to Josh Harris. Seemingly, they didn't want Magic Johnson as the face of the Commanders. They want Josh Harris to be the figure. In other words, they don't want a black man be the front on the face of a team. They want a white person in front of it. Now, he could be a minority owner under him, but he can't be the face of it. So now, whether it's true or not, but if this letter got to Harris, and seemingly it got to Magic Johnson. Now, that's a whole different level of situation that the league will have to deal with if this comes out to be true, if we hear it down the line. If Magic Johnson and Harris doesn't get the team or buy the team, then this might come out. But if it doesn't come out, because for all sense of purposes, I have heard also, well, I was told, you know, saying, well, the league wants minority owners or whatever the case may be. Well, if that's the case, then we wouldn't even have issues with minorities well, I would say minorities, black coaches in the league. We have more black head coaches. So if we struggling to have more black coaches, how in the hell we going to have the league going to be so giddy up to have a black person over a franchise? Come on, you really got to think of this. You know, you got to think about it. You can't just sit there and say, "Oh well, hey, yeah, they want minority owners in there, but they don't. They might want them in there, but they want them behind the scene. They don't want them as the face, because then you got to think about it." Now, I said this. I said this earlier. I said if Harris them is smart, if Harris them is smart, I would just buy the team and say I'd be the front guy. Even Daniel Snyder could have did this if he was smart enough. You know what I'm saying? When he had them 3 majority owners, partners for the franchise, if Daniel Snyder really wanted to took a back seat with all this scandal and all of this stuff again, he could have brought in a partner, a minority partner, a black person, Magic Johnson, Brian Allen, or whatever. Say, hey, I'm going to put y'all. He the same way he did relinquish his duties to his wife Tanya. He could have did that to one of them and allowed them to be the front man for the team, and he'd been behind the scenes and they running stuff. The league could not go against that. You know what I'm saying? Because it still was his team. Now buying into the team, yeah, they're gonna like, well, or the league gonna have their first minority owner, whatever the case may be. All right, case in point. But coming to where this Brian Davis type guy is sitting on all of this money. Now, how in the hell, if Magic Johnson and Furtado couldn't, because they say that also Robert Kraft wanted Brian Allen, you know, Magic Johnson and Harris, they teamed up to get the Denver Broncos, but they was outbidded or whatever the case may be. So if the league had wanted them, they could have been owners of the team. I just don't know, you know, what's the issue. But nevertheless, I don't think this Brian Davis dude got $7 billion. And if he is and he's coming out, don't you think the league financial committee will look deep into this and wonder, because they have to exploit where you get the financing from. Where are you getting this money from? You know what I'm saying? Because it has to go through them in order to be, you know, to make sure your money is legit. Now, he got $7 billion cash. There, honestly, I don't know nobody sitting on $7 billion worth of cash. It just don't make sense to me. It just don't make sense that somebody sitting on $7 billion of cash and all of a sudden, oh, well, I want to make a play for the Commanders. No, I don't see that happening. But nevertheless, I just think that Daniel Snyder is going to drag this out as long as he can to get what he wants. There's going to probably be another bidder come place, because technically Brian Davis is probably there's the next mystery bidder. But who knows? Like I think I read in the Washington Post that Mary Jo White, if Daniel Snyder, she might not be able to conclude her report, and if she do, what findings that she has gotten so far, would it be enough? Do she really need Daniel Snyder to interview in order to close her case? Because if he doesn't interview and she closes her case and there's not enough evidence for them, say Daniel Snyder renege on them, and would they have enough evidence in that case to oust him or vote him out? There's a lot of situation, a lot of unknowns into this issue with Daniel Snyder. A lot of unknowns right now, and we don't know which way it's gonna go. A lot of people keep saying, "Oh, be patient, be patient." You know, Daniel Snyder, the team is gonna get sold. Blase. Well, guess what? Until somebody in the mainstream media says it, then I'll jump all over it. from this time being, it's just gonna be reports. It's just gonna be something to talk about or whatever the case may be. I ain't taking nobody. I don't care if you locally and you supposedly be in the know. You know what I'm saying? Because if you ain't really giving no concrete evidence out there, then where somebody say, oh, well, like John Klein, you know, he reported he's at the owners convention today in Phoenix. He did a video this morning, and he pretty much not sure. He like, hey, this is going to take longer. Everybody be patient. But at the same time, it's going to take longer, which I even said it myself. Daniel Snyder is not going to give up without a fight. I don't care how much money you throw at him, or y'all say, well, hey, he could just take Bezos' money and run with it. Okay, well, you got this Brian Davis dude that coming out here with $7 billion. You know what I'm saying? And the key to this is you got to have enough money aside to really, especially if you want to get a new stadium. That's going to be the kicker. Now, me personally, if this dude Brian Davis does have that type of bread laying around like that, hell, I'll be calling Josh Harris up and say, look, Harris or Furtado or Stephen Aglopoulos, whatever your name is, and say, hey, let me partner up with y'all. I got 7 bands right here. You know what I'm saying? I got 7 right here. What? Steven got what, like 4? That's what 11 and a half, 12? But if he partners with Josh Harris, dude, that's about 19, 20 million. You have enough to buy the team, and you have enough to go into a stadium. So, and they said, well, the owners meeting, they want to take up the whole 7 because they only need 30% of it. Okay, well, what's the problem? What is the problem? That's all I'm saying. What is the problem? But anyway, like, comment, subscribe. The new LiveWire Sports Entertainment is now LWSE. You'll find me on YouTube, LWSE. LWS and E. So that's my new handle on YouTube. But anyway, I ain't getting worked up over this no more about the ownership. If it happens, it happens. I'm more concerned about this roster being rebuilt, adding some pieces, and looking forward to the future. Until then, guys, this is your boy LiveWire. I'm out, man.